Hello friends. So welcome back to the video lecture series. So we are discussing the food analysis part of our section first, and that is related to the CHA 393B or CBOP 3 paper. Okay. Today we are going to start our 7th chapter, that is carbohydrate analysis. Okay. Here, the introduction about this chapter is carbohydrate analysis is one of the important part from the several perspectives of the foods. Okay, the qualitative and quantitative analysis is used to determine the composition of foods, beverages, and their ingredients. Beverages means that we called them as cold drinks or soft drinks or alcoholic beverages. Okay, so the qualitative analysis ensures that ingredient label is present accurate compositional information. So we know that when we study all these properties of food analysis, then the ingredients present on the label are must. Okay, then the quantitative analysis ensures that added components are listed in the proper order of ingredient labels. So this quantitative analysis is related to the amount of that components present in the given food sample. Then this quantitative analysis also ensures that amount of specific components of consumers interest, for example beta glucan, are proper and that caloric content can be calculated. Okay, so in this case, in this chapter we are going to study the carbohydrate analysis. So first of all we have to learn about the meaning of total carbohydrate. Okay, so the meaning of total carbohydrate is, or the definition is like this: the amount of food customarily consumed per eating occasion by persons 4 years age or older. Okay, so a person which is of 4 years age old or older, that is consuming that amount of food customarily per servings or per eatings. Okay, and that must be calculated by subtraction of the sums of weights of crude protein, total fat, moisture and ash in a serving from the total weight of the food in a serving. Now the next point is sample preparation. Here sample preparation for the analysis of carbohydrate is done by a chart which is shown in your screen. Okay, so the raw material means the ingredient from which we have to determine the carbohydrate analysis, or it may be a finished product. It may be ingredient or it may be a finished product. First of all, it is dried. It is dried and under the vacuum. Okay, or the other methods can be used for the drying purpose, and the water from the drying process is removed. Okay, then the dehydrated material means the material which is free of water is then ground. Okay, so it is grind with the help of mortar and pestle or blenders. Different equipments can be used for the grinding. Then this ground material of the carbohydrate material, it is extracted with chloroform and methanol solvent. Chloroform and methanol solvent with a ratio of 19:1. With a ratio of 19:1. Then the extract has two parts: the residue part and the extracted part. The extracted part is having lipids and lipid soluble components. Okay, so in the chapter of analysis of lipids, we have also seen how that extraction of lipids is done. Okay, so similar process can be applied here for the extraction of lipids, because our sample may be containing of lipids, proteins, carbohydrates, etc. So here lipid part must be removed. Okay, and it can be removed by the extraction with chloroform and methanol. Then we have a residue part. Then that residue part is extracted again with 80% ethanol. 80% ethanol means it should have a 80% alcohol, that is ethyl alcohol, and 20% water. Okay, so a mixture of two solvents which are miscible with each other. This 80% ethanol is used for the extraction of that carbohydrate part from this residue. Okay, then ion exchange chromatography can be used for the separation of mono and disaccharides. For the separation or extraction of mono and disaccharides, ion exchange chromatography can be used. Okay, and after this ion exchange chromatography, the residue remained behind on that column is not containing carbohydrate. Okay, so what are the mono and disaccharides carbohydrate are present that are eluted with the help of ion exchange chromatography. Okay, now let us see about mono and oligosaccharides extraction, that we have already discussed in the previous slide, that is they are extracted with 80% ethanol. Okay, so for the determination of any mono, di, tri, tetra and other oligosaccharides, so monosaccharides are glucose, fructose, etc. Disaccharides are sucrose, lactose, maltose, etc. Then trisaccharides are raffinose, tetrasaccharides are stachyose, and other oligosaccharides such as maltodextrins. Okay, these saccharides are present. They are dried. Lipid free sample is extracted with 80% hot ethyl alcohol, that is ethanol. Okay, this is the final concentration, and it is done in the presence of precipitate calcium carbonate, in the precipitate of calcium carbonate CaCO3 to neutralize any acidity. So calcium carbonate is used as a base here, and it is used to neutralize any acidity present in that ethanolic solution. Okay, because the mono and oligosaccharides are neutral and the contaminants are charged, the contaminants can be removed by ion exchange techniques. Okay, so contaminants can be which are present in the mono and oligosaccharides, they can be removed by ion exchange techniques. Okay, now because of the reducing sugars can be adsorbed onto the isomerized by strong anion exchange reagents in the hydroxide form, a weak anion exchange reagent in the form of carbonate or hydrogen carbonate form is used. Okay, so anion exchange reagent should be used for the separation of mono and oligosaccharides. Then the next is total carbohydrate analysis by phenol sulfuric acid method. Okay, so what is the principle and characteristics of this method? We know that carbohydrates are destroyed by strong acids or high temperatures. So under these conditions, a series of complex reactions takes place, beginning with a simple dehydration reaction. Okay, so dehydration reaction is removing the hydroxy group and the hydrogen atom from the adjacent carbon atom. Okay, so water molecule is get removed, it is get converted to a enol form. Okay, and that enol form is again tautomerized into carbonyl group. Okay, so this sequence of chemical reactions has been happened. Then the most often used condensation is with phenol itself. This method is simple, very rapid, sensitive, accurate, specific for carbohydrates and widely applied. The reagents are inexpensive and readily available and stable. Virtually all classes of sugars, including sugar derivatives and oligopolysaccharides, can be determined with the help of phenol sulfuric acid method. So this is often used as a qualitative test for the presence of carbohydrate. Now what is the procedure? Actual procedure is like this. A clear aqueous solution of carbohydrate is transferred using a pipette into a small tube such as test tube. Then a blank of water is also prepared. An aqueous solution of phenol is added and the contents are mixed properly. Then concentrated sulfuric acid is added rapidly to the tube so that the stream produces good mixing of the total components. The tube is agitated, okay, then a yellow orange color will be formed. Then absorbance is measured at a wavelength of 490 nanometer. The average absorbance of the blanks is subtracted and the amount of sugar is determined by reference to a standard curve. Okay, then estimation of total reducing sugar. Okay, so total reducing sugars is estimated by Somogy-Nelson method. Okay, so what are reducing sugars? The principle of this method is reducing sugars are those sugars that have an aldehyde group, that is free aldehyde group containing sugars are known as reducing sugars, that can give up electrons. Okay, means they can act as reducing agents. Okay, and these reducing agents, that is free aldehyde group containing carbohydrates, gives or donates electrons to an oxidizing agent which is reduced by receiving the electrons. Oxidation of the aldehyde group produces carboxylic acid group. Under alkaline conditions, ketones behaves as a weak reducing sugars because they will partially isomerize to aldoses. So these and other reducing sugars methods can be used in combination with enzymatic methods for the determination of oligo and polysaccharides. Okay, this method is based on the reduction of copper 2 ions to copper 1 ions by reducing agents. Okay, so copper 1 ions then reduced an arsenomolybdate complex prepared by reacting ammonium molybdate and sodium arsenate in sulfuric acid. Reduction of the arsenomolybdate complex produces an intense stable blue color that is measured spectrophotometrically or colorimetrically. Then outline of the procedure. How to do that procedure? A solution of copper 2 sulfate, that is copper sulfate CuSO4, and an alkaline buffer are added by pipettes to a solution of reducing sugars and a water blank. The resulting solution is heated in a boiling water bath. A reagent prepared by mixing solution of acidic ammonium molybdate and sodium arsenate is added. Then after mixing, dilution and remixing, absorbance is measured at a wavelength of 120 nanometer. After subtracting the absorbance of the reagent blank, absorbance 250 is converted into glucose equivalents using standard plot of micrograms of glucose versus absorbance. Okay, so this is the procedure for Somogy-Nelson method for the estimation of total reducing sugar. Okay, thanks a lot for watching this video. Have a nice day.